So this class is on container gardening, which if you've heard me talk at all or can talk, we love to container garden. We have a big back patio that has a very steep drop off. So we line the whole thing with pots, basically, because that kind of gives us a natural barrier, so you're not losing small children and people over the edge of it. So we use a lot of containers for that. My front patio, I have a lot of containers just because I like the containers there. It brightens up our front patio. Our house is gray with dark gray trim, so it's not very bright, but I have some beautiful red pots that help me pick up color. The thing I love about ceramic pottery is it brings in color even without plants in it. You get a lot of beautiful color just in your pots. And I don't know if you guys noticed our pot selection, but I think we have just about every color under the sun, every shape, any of that. So we love container gardening. If you've ever tried to dig in the soil around here, you also know why we love container gardening. Because you're like, bam, you need a jackhammer. So container gardening gives you a lot more forgiveness because you're controlling the environment of the plant. I frequently get asked, can I put a tree in a container? Yes, you can. You just got to make sure you got a big enough container. So there, I would say you can grow just about anything in a container, as long as you've got the appropriate size, the appropriate amount of soil around it. Container gardening gives you a lot of flexibility. We do everything from herbs to vegetables to flowers. I have a big cherry tree in a container. It does fabulous. Last year we had more cherries than we could really eat. So yes, you can grow just about anything you want in a container. When it comes to containers, kind of what we were discussing earlier, there's different kinds. You can do plastic. Plastic containers in Arizona don't hold up that well. We're dry and we have a really hot sun. So you'll probably get 2, maybe 3 years out of plastic, and then it just starts chipping. It falls apart and it cracks. The other thing about plastic is it heats up really fast. So not so bad this time of year, but come June when it's really stinking hot out and the sun's hitting and there's no clouds, it can really get hot, and you're going to have to water more frequently in a plastic pot than you would in a ceramic, just because it's going to dry out so much quicker. But plastic is inexpensive and plastic is easy to move. So I guess it comes down to how you want to use it and what works best for you. Wood containers. Wood containers are another one that have a shelf life because that wood's going to rot. They're kind of, the look is nice sometimes, particularly in some homes where you have kind of a cabiny, rustic home. The wood is very, very pretty, but it is at some point going to rot. So if you're going to put more long-term plants in there, like a tree or a shrub, you probably would want to consider something else, because at some point it's just going to disintegrate. They start looking aged. Yes?
Did they ever try putting that spray seal on the inside of the planter?
The terracottas, or like a seal?
Yeah, that spray that they sell on TV where it doesn't sink when they have the screen on it.
I have seen people use that. He's asking about the seal where you can seal things inside so it keeps them from rotting, like they do for boats and that type of thing. I have not used that. I've seen a terracotta seal where they seal the inside of a terracotta pot so it doesn't, moisture's not wicking out of it. I'm not sure I would use that with vegetables and herbs, but flowers that you're not eating, definitely worth a try. So wood can break down. So you just have to, as long as you're okay with that, there's no reason you can't plant in wood. You also get into terracotta. Terracotta is also, it's very pretty. A lot of us have used terracotta for years. The thing with terracotta here is our water is so full of minerals, you'll get white on the outside of your pot. So that's where sealing it helps. It keeps that mineral from coming through the terracotta pot because it's so porous. Terracotta also, because it is so porous, it does tend to dry out a little faster again, so you're going to have to water a little more frequently. But it has a great look. I mean, I like terracotta, especially if you're planting herbs and that kind of stuff. It has a really neat look to it. You just got to be aware. I may have to water it a little bit more, and at some point, I'll guarantee you'll see mineral deposits around it. The other, so this is kind of a new line that we brought in. I really like this pot. It's very lightweight, but it's kind of a resin concrete material. So I think it's going to hold up really, really well. I don't think it's not particularly porous, so I don't think it's going to be like the terracotta where the moisture is coming through it. But I like that it's lightweight. Because so we have some others down there, big pots, and I can lift them up and move them really easily. So this is a kind of a new one that we brought in. I'm really excited about it. I'm going to try some succulents in this bowl because it's a nice sized bowl for succulents. It does have a hole in the bottom. I can see it needs to be punched through there. So yeah, it does have a hole on the bottom. Yes.
Can it be painted so that you get colors?
I'm sure that it could, and somebody that's truly handy could paint it, but I'm not truly handy, so I would not want to paint it. I guess a can of spray paint, I could do that. But, check these out. I think they're really interesting and new. And then this, which we kind of talked about before, these are your ceramic pots. These are heavy, but they hold up for years. We literally have had pots in front of our house that are probably 10, maybe even 15 years old. They don't crack. I don't have to worry about them in the winter time. I can leave them out in the winter, even if I don't have any plants in it, and they're going to be fine. I don't have to worry about that freeze thaw. That's the other thing with terracotta, because we have that winter, we get wet and then we get cold, and your terracotta pots will start cracking and flaking. So you almost have to bring them inside in the wintertime and store them, or you're going to lose some pots. The nice thing about these heavy ceramics is they're high fired, so they're not going to crack and break in the wintertime. Any questions on pots? Yes?
On the terracotta, you said they dry out quickly. Can you put a water dish underneath that?
Yes. Saucers are hugely important, definitely.